Today we're doing a radiator. Mine has cracked and is leaking. So we're going to pull it out. We're going to put the new one in. We're going to bleed the system. And we're going to just do everything. So tools you're going to need are going to be a 10mm socket, wrench if that's all you got, but I prefer a ratchet and a socket. You're going to need a 12mm ratchet socket, but again, a wrench will do if that's all you've got. Pliers, that's going to be your biggest thing. The clamps on the hoses are going to be at different angles for different cars. You know, it just depends on how the factory put it on, if it's never been done, or how the previous tech did it, or maybe you did it. So you might just need a different assortment of pliers just to be able to get to the clamps. I think that might be it for tools. I mean, you could go big and get the fancy funnel that goes on the radiator to help bleed it, but you'll see that later. I have that. I can't think of anything else you're gonna need. I mean, obviously power tools are gonna make this easier. You'll need a bucket to drain the coolant into, or, you know, a big drain pan or something just to catch it, because you don't want that going in the ground. And, I mean, other than the new radiator and some new coolant, that's all you need. So, let's get to it. First thing we're going to do, we're going to jack it up, put it on stands or put it on ramps. Put it on whatever you choose. I mean, I don't recommend putting it on cinder blocks or bricks, or I've seen a lot of stupid, crazy stuff. And jack stands or ramps. That's it. That's all I can recommend. So go ahead, jack it up. Jack it up sky high. You're going to want to get under it. I don't know if my car's high enough to jack it up here. I was going to do it on a cross member, but since it's lowered, I don't know if it'll even fit. Which sucks. Score. Alright, jack stands. You need those. Because you don't want this thing falling off. Ooh, it's a tight squeeze through here. Too many cars here. Ooh. Who did this? Alright, you want them the same height, both sides. Next thing, you're going to want to take the splash shields off from underneath. Again, this is where power tools come into play. They help a lot. They're all going to be 10mm. And you need to take these down to gain access to the drain and the lower radiator hose. Which side is the lower hose on? I can't remember. I think it's this side. So we're going to go with this one. Yeah, found it. Cool. Alright, now, maybe another thing I should have mentioned. A small bungee cord. your best friend when it comes to stuff like this. Bungee cord that beast out of the way. If you have one. If not, no big deal. It's not the end of the world. Just find a place to strap that up. Alright. Cool. Now you have access to the lower radiator hose. Oh, you do have to take the other side off. Been a while. Alright. I mean, you don't have to take that side off. I just do it because it makes getting to the drain a lot easier. Like a lot. And that's what you're going to do next. You're going to drain it. Now I need to find something to drain it into. We're probably going to need a bigger bucket. Oh well, we'll get to that. If we need it, we'll do it. Alright. Let that beast drain. For those of you who don't know what that looks like, that's it. That's the drain. It's on the right side at the very, very bottom. Alright. When it's done draining, tighten up your drain. And then next, if your car is an automatic transmission, you're going to want to take your automatic transmission lines off for the cooler. And you're going to block those off with either, pliers or put spark plugs in the end of the hoses, and you're going to catch the fluid that comes out of that. And then you're going to do your lower radiator hose. And you're going to lose some coolant there too, so be sure to catch that. Alright, cool. So, now that you've got your lower radiator hose out, or off, and your transmission cooler lines, if yours is an automatic, and your coolant drained, you're done with the bottom. Now it's time to come up top. Alright, now that you've got all that taken apart, you can go ahead and undo your upper radiator hose. Move your clamp. Sometimes it's not that easy. A lot of times you have to get in there with like a hose pick or something. Looks like this. You would get in there and loosen it up. Anyway, there's that. Undo your overflow hose for your reservoir. So just fold that out of the way. And then you're going to have your clip here for your O2 sensor. So your connector there, you take that off. I mean, you probably don't really need to see that because it's all right there in front of you when you see it. Next thing, you're going to take your 12s off for your support holes. Put those out of the way. And now, your radiator's just sitting in here. It's got the fan still on it. The next thing you gotta do is move it in a way where you can reach down here on the side and unclip your fans. There's a connector there. Sometimes it's easier if you take your inlet off for your intake. So there's that. Pull that off. Put that out of the way. Yep, there you go. Now you can reach right down there and unclip your fans. And now your radiator just simply comes right out. Et voila! Now, be careful though, because you're still going to lose coolant. You're going to get it all over your garage if you're not careful. Another thing to note is your bushings that the radiator sits in. You'll see them. There's two of them. Be sure to put those back in. Because if you don't, it ain't going to fit right. Next up, you've got 4 10s holding your fan on. Here's that fan connector I was telling you about, and your O2 sensor will clip here. So, you're going to swap this over to your new radiator. In my case, I have to go get mine. So, now you got a new fan. Radiator. Now you put your fan back on. Look at this. Look how easy that is. Oh, one-handed. If I were a magician, I could do it no-handed. But I'm not. I have to run that in with the impact. Why is my 10 not on that? This is the thing about aftermarket radiators. Nothing fits. If this had been a Toyota radiator, you wouldn't have this problem. 3 bolts will do just fine. Yeah, we'll just leave it. Whatever. It ain't going nowhere. Now, just like you took it out, you put it back. Oh, that would explain it. Sorry about that. Alright, now. What? Alright. Now, just make sure your pegs go in the bushings. Like mine or not. There you go. Boom. Fell right in. Now you can put your brackets back on. Like so. That one's broken, but I don't care. Actually, I might care a little bit. now it's not broken. And then we'll put the broken one back on the white car. Cool, now you got your brackets on it. Sweet. Hose goes on it. Don't forget to plug your fan back up. And then take your O2 sensor wire, clip it back in. And then you could take that makes more sense. Alright, there's that. Cool. Now you're done with the top. Now put your lower radiator hose back on it, and your automatic trans lines, if you have them. I do not, which makes my life so much easier. Bolt your shields back up. There's that. Dispose of your coolant. Properly. Alright, why don't you just dump it all over the damn garage? Because that is exactly what's happening with this piece of crap drain bucket. Piece of shit. Alright. Put that back on. Alright. Now, the fun part. Now you got everything back together. Okay, so my phone died. My camera died, so I'm going to have to use my phone. This was that cool funnel thing I was telling you about. Now that you've got it all put together, you can start bleeding the system. Make sure that's on there nice and snug. Make sure you don't have any coolant on it. And now, sorry for the mess. Now you guys get to see how messy my garage is. Put coolant in it. Since I just poured, all my old coolant out on the damn floor. Like a dumbass. Alright. Car's still on jack stands, by the way. I know you're probably like, oh man, you drained green coolant out of it. Why are you putting red coolant in it? Well, it came from the factory with red coolant. But whoever owned the car before me was getting it serviced at a non-Toyota shop. And they put green coolant in it. So I'm just going to convert it over to red. That way, we're within Toyota specs. And this is long life. Toyota long life. Not super long life. super long life is pink. And I have some of that somewhere. I know the jug says super long life, but it's not. I had to improvise because I didn't have any containers. Now, on average, a radiator swap on these should take about a couple gallons, a gallon. I always have 2 on hand. You never know, something stupid might happen. Maybe you forgot the clamp and you blow a radiator hose off of it. You need more coolant. So, now, still on jack stands. Remember that, because you want the radiator cap to be the highest point in the car, because air obviously goes up. Here's my nasty wagon. So, now, to bleed it, you're going to want, I don't care where your settings are, I put it on floor and face, heat, all the way. My radio is probably going to be loud too. Yeah, it was loud. Alright. Crank it up. If you can, with all these keys, I'm like a damn janitor. Hold on. God. What is happening right now? Christ. Alright, now we're good. Alright, crank it up. Let it sit there and idle for a little bit. Make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. Whoa! Now, if you don't have this fancy funnel, just pour your coolant into the radiator and let it burp off and do whatever until it's full. And then you're going to crank up the car and let it idle. And as the radiator takes the coolant into the system to bleed the air out, you're going to add more to it. It's kind of messy. I don't recommend it. Just spend the $35 or whatever it is and buy this. So you got heat on, idle. Watch it for the bubbles to come out of it. And we're going to do this. And we're going to do this until we have heat in the car. And when we have heat, oh, here's another thing. Your fan speed, you don't want it too high. You want it like in the middle. Just enough to get a good flow. So, as you're bleeding it, check to make sure you've got heat. Keep checking your temperature gauge to make sure you're not overheating. And if you're at operating temperature and you don't have heat for whatever reason, I've already got a little bit of heat and we just started. You're going to take your heater core lines, which are here and here, these two, and you're going to squeeze them. And what that's going to do is it's going to push the air through the heater core and help you pump out the air that's in the system. But it's not really going to get too crazy until the thermostat opens up. You can see we're getting some air. See? And then at some point, you're going to want to run it at like 1500, 2000 RPM for a while. And this is just going to turn your water pump faster to cycle the coolant quicker. again, because I can't record forever. Temperature hot, heat on. You want the front end of the car jacked up in the air because you want the radiator cap to be the highest point. Let it idle, bleed the air out of it, and you'll know when it's done because the bubbles will slow down a lot and your fans will cycle. Your fans will come on and cycle, and you'll be at operating temperature. You won't be overheating. You'll have heat. You'll be good. So when that happens, I'll let you guys know. All right, so we've been idling at like 2,000 RPM for about 15 minutes or so. And as you can see, my fans have kicked on. I don't even know if you can hear me, but the fan has come on. You should see it when it stops. So our fan's kicked on. We have heat. We're not overheating. We don't really have many bubbles. Everything's nice and hot. So the next thing you want to do is bring it back down to idle. So bring it back down to idle. And then, I don't know if I can do this, because now it's going to bleed a little more off of it. Listen to that water pump go. Yeah. Alright, that sounded awful. Alright, so now we're gonna see if I can do this with my chin here. We're gonna take the reservoir off of it. Didn't even spill any coolant. And then we're going to put our cap back on. And then all you got to do now is chop off your reservoir. I like to put it, a little bit past full because it's never truly bled. As you drive the car, it'll kick out what it doesn't need or suck in what it does need. So we'll put what's left back in the jug. And we pour it everywhere. Because I used the wrong jug. Ha ha ha! Sweet. Anywho, now you can take it off the jack stands and shut the hood, drive it around, do whatever you need to do. You're done. You have now put a radiator in your Corolla. So enjoy it and spend all that hard-earned, saved money on something cool. In my case, it's probably just food. Enjoy and let me know what you want to see next. Maybe it'll be a timing belt and a water pump and all that cool stuff, because this one definitely needs it. Thanks for watching.